I just love that jam. The theme song. I feel like I hear it when I walk down the street these days. Love this theme song. Love this podcast. Welcome to Educating with Ease. I'm your host, Dr Bauer, Superintendent in North Penn School District. Just pleased to have you listening and joining us wherever you get your podcasts, or on the radio, or on YouTube, or on Facebook. Just pleased to have everybody there. This is our final episode. Bob, I'm going to need you to put in a sound effect there for like final episode in 2023. The next episode will be the first in 2024. We are recording this here on the 19th of December, and I'm really excited about our featured guest. I'll give you a hint. This individual comes from the same building as the previous guest. But let's take a step back here and invite in. Here comes his music. Oh, yeah. There we go. Bob, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. The funky music. It's not holiday music, but I'm feeling it in the holidays. I'm getting ready. Think I'm done shopping, etc. Getting ready to take a break. I'm ready for it.
And people don't understand, outside of a electoral debt referendum, December and November are very busy in a school district, in particular for your communications department. So what have you been up to?
It has been the referendum, but it's concert season, etc. We're just, this is the time of year, too, with all our students, broadcasting students, where they're really getting into knowing how to edit and shoot. So we got a lot of productions flying in and out of here, DJs coming in and out of the studio for WNPV. And we're just ramping up for our final show of 2023 with our morning show, North Penn Right Now, etc. So a lot of that stuff's going on right now.
Got it. All right. Well, I appreciate you and all the work of those in your department. I know last night we had the holiday concert at North Penn High School, which is just a magical event. If you have not experienced, you got to get there to see the Hallelujah chorus. They bring up the alumni, the teachers, everybody. It's like 300 people up there singing. It is pretty powerful, goosebump worthy every time.
Every single time. And if you missed it this year,
YouTube.com, NPTV.
YouTube.com/NPTV. You can watch it on our YouTube channel.
While we're throwing out these types of handles, let's pause for station identification.
I'm going to do a longer one, so let's wait for it.
All the hits.
Yeah.
It's my number one all day.
WNPV 98.5 FM 1440 AM Lansdale.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. WNPV Lansdale. All right, let's get to today's special guest. And this is an individual. I love the people we work with, Bob. I do. I think we have an amazing administrative team, an amazing staff, all the way from our bus drivers, our custodians, our instructional assistants, our office staff, our teachers. Love everybody. One of my favorite people in the North Penn School District, someone I consider to be a dear friend, someone I worked with in administration at North Penn High School. Let's welcome in. Go ahead, hit that tune.
Yep. I like the beat. I'm going to go ahead and slide out as she slides in.
All right, Dr. Marjorie Diegue, welcome to
Hello.
Educating with Ease.
How are you?
I'm here. I think I shared this with you privately, but I'll throw it out there on the pod that I was last year sitting next to a third grader during an observation in a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
I said to the young man, "How you doing?" He goes, "You know what, Dr. Bauer? I'm good enough." And I was like, I love that. I'm using it.
You're like, I'll take it.
So today I am good enough. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well today. I am.
All right. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself? Let's go personal first, and then we'll go professional.
Okay, personal. My name is Dr. Marjorie Diegue. I am personally daughter, auntie, sister, just this person that loves family. I'm originally from New Jersey. So even though I've been in Pennsylvania longer than I've been in Jersey, I will always be a Jersey girl through and through. So just a Jersey girl who resides in Pennsylvania, just trying to live life, but who adores her family. So that's me personally.
That really, for those who don't know you, that embodies who you are. Family. So, all right. When you say a Jersey girl, what's that mean? Are you talking stereotypes here?
I am, and I'm gonna own it, okay? Because I feel like a Jersey girl is a girl not to be messed with, but she got the biggest heart. So if my Jersey accent starts to fill in, you'll hear it. But I just feel like Jersey girls are tough. Jersey girls are witty, they're kind. We the best. I mean, no shade to Pennsylvania, but Jersey all day, every day.
Okay. All right. Well, we can agree to disagree, but all right. So you mentioned accents. I happen to know that you speak another language outside of English.
I do.
So tell us a little bit more about your heritage and your personal life.
Awesome. So my parents were born and raised in the country of Haiti. They came to the United States, I want to say, in the late 70s, early 80s. Got married here and then had my sister and myself. So even though I was born and raised in the United States of America, my primary language at first was Creole, because that's the language that my parents spoke. And then English was the second language. Now, I will say over time, my Creole's gotten a little rusty, but with the help of a former guest that you had, she really helps me practice. So Creole is the second language. And I can understand a little bit of French here and there, but Creole I do speak at home with family and friends.
All right. So if she helps you with your Creole,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to help her get her doctorate.
Listen, we're working on that. That's a goal, and we're going to achieve it. Okay.
Every time I see her, I'm like, how's it coming? She just puts her head down and
It's coming. It's coming. We got this. It's a team effort.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned being an auntie.
I am.
Well, you got to tell us about these two beautiful little girls.
All right. So first I'll say in Creole, the term auntie is Tati. Okay. So I go by Tati. My sister and brother-in-law have two beautiful daughters, Cairo and Nairobi. And I don't know if people have sisters, they're going to get this. But when your sister has children and you happen to be a woman, there is no love greater than that. So when she brought my first niece into this world, I happened to be I think we had like a district retreat, and I was in the retreat bawling my eyes out because I was so just overwhelmed with joy. She recently had my second niece, Nairobi, a year and a half ago, who is a spitfire, beautiful doll. But these girls, I mean, they keep me on my toes. I'm exhausted quite often when I babysit, but the joy that I feel when they just say, hi, Tati, we FaceTime about 3-4 times a week. So, and I'm going to see them for the holidays. So those two girls have my heart like no other.
I love it. All right. Last thing before we move to professional. Mm-hmm. You happen to have two furry friends.
I do. I'm a dog mom. Okay. Callie and Cooper. Callie is a 7.5-year-old Yorkie Poo. And I got Callie before I became an administrator. And then I had this idea that Callie needed a friend. She didn't. I realized after the fact, but I adopted Cooper, who is a 6.5-year-old Schnauzer mix, I think he is. We still don't know. But they drive me nuts, but they're just a lovable bunch. Callie's about, like I said before, 6 pounds, and she's the cutest thing in the world. No one can tell me they have a dog cuter than Callie. And Cooper's just a lovable, mama's boy, just walks around. He's a hot mess most of the time, but he's really he's just he just wants to play, a kind dog. So those two take up my time outside of school as well.
All right. So this is the second time we're disagreeing, and this is what friends do. Mm-hmm. My dog, Duke, might be the cutest dog on earth, but just saying.
Can I say Duke is handsome? He's a handsome, regal dog, but Callie, she kind of cute.
Well, and Nicole Bauer, if you're listening, just rewind about a minute and forget the fact that she said that Callie didn't need a friend. Because I'm trying to get Duke a friend. We lost a dog about 1.5 years ago, a little bit less than that. And I've been kind of, holding the banner for a second dog, and she's not budging.
Nicole, get it. Listen, they get on my nerves, but they're so cute when they play together. So I'm team dog number 2.
Thank you. All right. So let's talk professionally briefly. How'd you get to North Penn? What roles have you filled? Those types of things.
Okay. Got to North Penn in 2008. I was hired as a school counselor. That's my first profession. Really love working with students. And I did that for about 10.5 years at North Penn High School. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Loved the growth. Loved the students. Worked alongside a lot of our students, but predominantly students of color as well. And then I kind of got this itch where I felt like sometimes you need to have people in the role to make change happen. But I felt as though as a school counselor, I wasn't often privy to be part of those conversations. So I had the bright idea to become an administrator. So I became an assistant principal. I want to think it was like for like a year and a half at the high school, and loved it, loved the team. But then sometimes, you know, you get in your career, you're kind of wondering like, okay, is this it? What's next? So I got a little bit of an itch, and then I transitioned to working in human resources, which was a lot. But I will say those 2.5 years of doing that, I learned so much more about like the business behind education and how to make that whole piece work. I loved it. I enjoyed, you know, it was a challenge. I enjoyed the challenge. But it was also during the height of the pandemic, and that was a lot. And throughout it all, as much as I enjoyed learning with HR, I missed the kids so much. I would just say like there was a little bit of joy, or a lot of bit of joy, that I was lacking in my professional career. So then I reached out to some of the admins and said, is anything open? I would love the opportunity to go back into the academic environment. And now I'm at Penndale Middle School, year 3 as an assistant principal. And when I say I love it, I love it. Like, haven't felt in a while. I wake up every day to come to work, and I'm really excited. And that's something that I think is, it's not always an emotion that people feel, especially in this day and age with how like life can be. But when I say every day I'm waking up, thinking about my students at night, I think of my students in terms of like, what can I do better? And middle school, as you all know, it'll challenge you to figure out how you can be a better educator every single day. So when I say I go home every day and I'm thinking about my students and how can I help them, but also what can I do better to help, you know, push them in the right direction. So that's my transition.
That was beautifully said. I'm so glad to hear that you're that happy in that role. That's pretty special. I taught middle school for 1 year. And I remember when I was offered that position, I was switching from one district to another. They had a middle school opening. And honestly, I was a high school teacher. And I was like, I don't want to teach middle school. You know, middle school kids get such a bad rep. And the math didn't necessarily get me excited for the higher levels in the high school, like calculus and trig and all that pre-calc. Boy, did it make me a better teacher.
They challenge you in a good way.
Yeah, like to engage the kids. I felt like I had to put on a show every day. And it wasn't as simple as showing them how to do the math. It was a whole lot bigger than that. So you are the right person in that role. I'm glad you're so happy, and Penndale is fortunate.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to dive into the fun segments here. Bring Bob back in. Here's his theme music. What you think?
I like it. Okay, it's a little smooth. Okay.
It's funky. I wouldn't call that slow. That's funky. I love it.
Smooth. I said smooth.
There you go.
It's not quite the same as Dr. Diegue's intro.
No,
but
way better. Yeah. Hers is way better than mine.
Nice try.
I thought
mine's tired.
Shade there.
That was a whole lot of shade.
All right, so we got 3 segments here, Dr. D. We got Local Eats, which is a local restaurant, preferably local to this area somewhat, so that people could check it out.
Okay.
Small Wins, which is just a victory in life, no matter how small. That was a positive for you. And a question of the pod. And this question of the pod is going to pertain to the book you're currently reading.
Okay.
New segment alert. Got to use a sound effect.
Okay. Question of the pod. We're not calling it question of the week. Question of the pod.
Got it.
All right. So you pick Local Eats, Small Wins, or question of the pod.
I would say Local Eats first.
All right. You want to go first or last?
I'll go first. So there is a restaurant on Main Street in Lansdale called Asian Legend. They serve a variety of Vietnamese food. They do a really nice job. So it's a little small restaurant, but when I say like very friendly, very kind, they're very jovial in their conversation. But they have this dish that a friend of mine in the district put me on. It's called shrimp vermicelli. So good. So I feel like it's like rice noodles and bean sprouts and a lot of vegetables, which I try to increase my intake on, but really, really, really tasty. So I get that about every 2 weeks or so on my way home, grab it. Very tasty and very healthy. So Asian Legend on Main Street, Lansdale.
Dr. Bauer, what was Lise Metellus' place? I'm trying to remember the name of it because I feel like they're near each other in Lansdale.
They are. I can tell you what she said. It was Cub Cow.
Yes.
On Main Street. They're a couple blocks. So Cub Cow is closer to Penndale, and then Asian Legend is closer to the Walgreens, or right on that corner.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bob, you want to go next or last?
I'm just going. I was trying to think. I always go comfort food because that's my style. But my wife and I were just talking about it. Eastern Dragon over by Costco in Montgomeryville. Chinese. Just get some lo mein, get a little egg roll, just mix it all up, take a big nappy after eating all that. So we were just talking about that. We're eager in the near future, several weeks here. My son's coming home from Air Force technical training, and she's like, he's the only one that eats Chinese with me, and she hasn't had it in months and months since he hasn't been home. But I'm like, I'll eat Chinese. She's like, no, you won't. I said, yes, I will. I just have to take a nap as soon as I'm done. So that's mine for this week.
Got it. Love it. Okay. Mine's a little different. Not a place that's necessarily known for their food, but a new place right on Main Street in Souderton called Branch Creek Tap House.
I've heard of this place.
Yes. So the owners are good friends of my wife and I. It is, oh my gosh, why did I lose his name? Oh, there we go. Okay. It is Brooke and Nate Clemmer. I was going to say Mr. Clemmer. Brooke and Nate Clemmer. And honestly, they opened this place due to what they felt was a calling. They felt that they had the resources to open up a opportunity to bring people together in the community. And I think they eventually hope to host events and community groups and like a Bible study and like just bring people together in a open door space. So it's one of those places you get like a debit card and they have like 40 beers on tap and you just hold the card up and pour whatever beer you want. And you ring up a bill. They have food trucks. They just started with a menu. Really cool place, but the mission is great. They're actually looking to give back to the local school districts. So they are committed. It's not a nonprofit, but they are committed to not profiting themselves. So any of the proceeds that they get, they are going to donate to local school districts to help children in need. So it's just really, really cool place. The vibe is awesome. The owners could not be nicer people. Shout out to Brooke Clemmer, by the way, is a wonderful first grade teacher who taught my son, and then Nate as well. So Branch Creek Tap House right off of Main Street in Souderton.
So I'm wondering if we've got podcast experts here on this podcast. So you guys had your podcast pre-COVID, into COVID. And I think we could combine a little bit of like after we all retire and we open up things that are a passion. We could just do podcasts every day from a place like that.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Sign me up.
How fast can we do it?
All right. See you guys. I love it. All right. Let's move to small wins and we'll reverse the order here. So I'll go first. Dr. D, you'll go last. All right. This one, I'm reaching a new small with this one. We had a malfunction on our dryer. And when you don't have a dryer, oh my gosh, you got a couple kids playing a bunch of sports, the house turns into a disaster. So we got a new washer because they were both about 12 years old. So it was like, why replace the one without replacing the other? We got new stackable washer and dryer. Just so quiet. The technology is so great. You can set timer. You can do all kinds of stuff. I appreciate my new washer and dryer, sponsored by General Electric. All right, Bob,
well, I got to call you on the sponsors because I know my boss, Christine, is always worried about the sponsorship. That is not in our policy for sponsorships. We have to figure it out and create a new category just for podcasts because it didn't exist when we created our sponsorship policy. Anyway, I want to make
anyone
sure
offers us a sponsorship, because we talk about it all the time and no one.
I know. It's got to go through Christine.
We'll add it into the policy.
just know that. First of all, you should have repaired your dryer. That is one of the easiest things to repair because there's nothing to it. There's a motor, there's a heater, there's a belt. Get out. That's it.
So I actually had a repairman, and my dad is super handy. I am not.
He is super handy.
I had my dad and a repair service come look at it, and it was actually the parts were $400. And it was like a brand new one was $650, and it was 12 years old. And I was like, I'm just buying a new one.
12 years. I got you.
Yeah. So anyway,
all right.
I was going to fix it. It turned out to not be cost effective.
Gotcha. Understood. So my small win is I found Etsy.
What do you mean?
Christmas. I found it. I don't go on Etsy. I'm not an Etsy guy. But for Christmas, I'm always just looking for unique gifts, something different, something specific. And wow, I've just found so many gifts this year. I'm like King Etsy. So that's my little small win. I know it's been around, but I'm not known as the crafty guy, so I found it, and I've found a lot of great stuff so far for friends and family.
Awesome and unique and creative. That's a win. I love that for you.
I love that.
All right.
Go ahead.
Now let's see if Dr. Diegue's going to have a small win or if it's an enormous win.
Yeah, like Lee's last episode, she's like, "Oh, I just changed the lives of
Changing
children."
lives. Yeah, changing lives.
Lee changed lives every day. My small one it really is small. We live in this world where I think sometimes the manners sometimes falls to the wayside. So in the morning, I'm at Penndale. I always stand up at the front of the building and welcome our students in. And for 7th graders, that's the entrance they use. My small win is always when I say, "Morning, everybody. How you guys doing?" And a majority of the time this year, I want to say over 85%, kids stop and say, "We're doing well. How are you?" And they ask. And they wait for a response. So I think that's so kind. And in a world where I don't think that we receive that as often from strangers, our Penndale 7th graders are rocking it because they always stop to ask us how we're doing. And I love that.
Thank you for cultivating an environment where that happens. That's awesome. And that is a small win, but a great one.
It's
all right.
great.
All right. Last one is question of the pod. And Dr. D, you get to pick our order here.
Okay.
What book are you currently reading? Who answers first?
Bob, myself, then you.
Gilmer. Okay. So I'm a nonfiction guy. I love just reading history and nonfiction. So Ben Franklin, I think it's Walter Isaacson, who does all the biographies of historical figures, those types of things. He does like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and other folks. But I really love the historical pieces and reading about the lives of whether it's, somebody like Ben Franklin, the Bush family, Kitty Hawk. Is that him? Anyway, so the last one I had was a Ben Franklin. I was going through which book I had last was Ben Franklin. I think it's called like An American Story or something like that.
Oh. And these books keep you awake is what you're telling me.
I love them. I absolutely love them.
Okay. So I'm currently reading a book called Thicker Than Water by Kerry Washington. I've gotten into like the Audible vibe, but then I feel like I need that book in hand to hear the pages turn. And it's really unique because I feel as though when I'm reading these books, it sometimes gives you a gauge into who the person is and then why they do the things they do outside of their career. So I think I'm like on chapter 5. It's really unique to hear her background, as a woman of color, but also like the dynamic of her parents and how that has shaped her. So I'm really enjoying it and hope to continue it over our holiday break in a couple of days.
Is fiction?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So mine is I actually just read the Elon book. I mentioned that, Bob, and it was like 900 pages. Walter Isaacson, I think, was the author.
Yep.
And I actually picked up a book after we took our leadership team to Gettysburg. And I asked the gentleman who gave us a tour, and in turn, Mr. Bob Gilmer, because Bob's a bit of a history buff. And I said, if you were to read one book, because you go into the gift shop and there's 800 books, right? And like, how do you choose one? So I just said, I find all this really interesting. I don't know much about the Civil War. What book would you recommend? And he said, the best book for someone who's looking to learn and is a page turner is called Killer Angels. So I ordered it that day when we were on the bus on the way back, and it's been sitting next to my bed for a couple months.
You haven't cracked it open yet?
I just started it.
Good.
So my objective is to read that over the break, maybe one or two more. I don't take enough time to read. I read, I'm going to say 3 or 4 nights a week for like 20 minutes. So when you open a book that's 900 pages, it takes a while.
Yep. I'm glad to hear it. I can't wait to hear you're going to power through that. And we come back in the new year. I can't wait to hear how you liked it.
Okay. All right. So we had local eats, small wins, and question of the pod. Dr. Marjorie Diegue, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a true pleasure.
You're welcome. It was glad to be together again. It's been a while since we've been on the podcast. So I miss these days, and thank you for inviting me, you both.
We now know our retirement plan. So that all said, we all want to wish you a wonderful holiday season with friends and family and all the things that you're looking forward to. I hope everyone remains healthy and happy headed into the brand new school year. That's all for this episode. Take care, everyone.